It's weird, eh? How we initially were more interested in what Juliet was experiencing, but now what's going on in her old silo is much more riveting.
Well, that's because nothing's really happening with her. I mean, she survived, found Solo, got her suit, but no major mysteries or revelations are uncovered. It feels like we're just marking time the few moments we go back to see her.
Well, this episode is called The Dive, which means it should be more focused on her fixing the underwater pipe. Maybe she'll discover something of note.
It could also mean that Lucas is diving into tons of knowledge now he's Burnout's shadow. Hey, Kevin Fennec here, and tick-tock, tick-tock, the pieces on the board are slowly moving. That's right. Mechanical launches a rocket to dispense messages to the rest of the silo, trying to put their point of view across. How do they know how to build a rocket, though? It's not like they know anything about flying machines, or even birds.
Maybe they're that resourceful.
It's not the first time questionable things have happened on this show.
And I have a feeling it won't be the last.
But the main thing here is the story, and the sense of tension, the pace, the developments on multiple fronts all make for engrossing viewing.
And we finally have some concrete information about the silo. Knowing the silo was built 352 years ago doesn't give us much to go on, Gigi. We still don't know why they were built and what happened to the world outside, for instance. Yeah, well, it's a start though.
Although the super advanced tech in the vault was interesting. Amazing what the latest version of the iPad and Siri can do, eh?
For sure. Meanwhile, Walker tries to find out how Carla is, Sheriff Billings discovers who poisoned the food, and Knox and Cheryl switch the power off to send a message.
What about that? How did they know IT had its own power supply? I mean, I know we know it does because Solo told Juliet in the other silo, but no one in this silo do. Maybe it was luck, but the note says IT is lying to them.
I don't think they knew about the separate power supply. I think this was just referring to what happened to Josh Meadows.
Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense.
What makes less sense, though, is what's going on with Juliet.
I must say, I did like the fact Solo gives her goggles to see underwater. No more wondering how people can see perfectly underwater without them. Okay, yes, that was good, and I appreciated that. But her entire underwater escapade couldn't possibly have worked. How so? Well, let's start with the water pump. Such a pump is designed to pump water, not air. Try to pump air with it, and before too long, it'll burn out horribly. Yeah, that could have been messy. Maybe Jules altered it somehow? Okay, maybe. But how did she create a regulator then? As far as I understand, residents of the silo don't do any underwater work. Heck, Solo had to explain to Jules how to swim with her arms and legs. So a regulator would not be something readily available or a technology you'd easily know of, even for an engineer.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
But then what about the bends? Solo made a point of explaining to Jules what happens were she to go back up to the surface too fast. But at the end of the day, it didn't affect Jules.
There's various issues with that one. You don't suffer from the bends if you do free diving because the volume of air in your lungs remains the same.
But she wasn't free diving, though.
No, she wasn't, but you could argue she wasn't breathing compressed air, but the air pumped from the surface. Although, how would the air manage to get to Jules in sufficient quantities, and it would still have to be compressed in some way by the time it reached her? And of course, there's a trip back to the surface at speed. You'd have enough air if it was compressed as it expands as you go up, but then you have issues with the bends. And if you only have the surface air, she wouldn't have had enough of it to make it back, especially since she has no experience of underwater work, and let's not forget, she had a massive phobia about it until just a few days ago. If they don't address that in the next episode, I will be mighty displeased.
Well, we may have to put that in the same pile as the Knox and Cheryl surviving the not-so-bungee jump.
Why spend time talking about the bends when nothing happens when you don't do what you're supposed to do, I ask you?
And we hear you, Doc. We hear you. Meanwhile, Lucas uses Siri and his iPad to find clues to decipher the cipher Salvador Quinn used.
You know, this one bugs me too.
Well, what about it, McCluck?
Well, okay. He discovered that the cipher is based on page 77 of a specific book, and he just needs to find the right book, and he thinks it's in an old relic not present in the vault's giant archive.
Yeah, correct.
Well, from what I gather, it's a tricky cipher, but Salvador wanted someone in the future to decipher it. So, would he have risked basing his cipher on a book that could easily be lost or destroyed over time?
So, what are you thinking?
Well, how about hiding in plain sight? How about using page 77 of the Pact?
An intriguing idea, McCluck. I guess we'll find out in time, won't we? And finally,
we have a deepening of the mystery in Solo's silo.
That's right. There's someone else in there.
And all those shots we had of Solo and Jules as if taken from another person's point of view in the previous episodes finally makes sense. They've been such a tease, haven't they? And it's taken 7 episodes to finally pay that off. At last, some excitement in Solo's silo. Actually, the whole episode was very good. From trying to figure out who the rats are down in Mechanical, to Sims and Camille having a go at each other as they've been working behind each other's backs, to Bernard thinking he's in control, only to realize he may not actually be, to Lucas taking a deep dive in knowledge and technology he never knew existed. There's a lot going on, and we're hooked all the way.
Aside from the incongruities in physics. Again.
Well, yeah, aside from those.